Hey there, everybody. It's Quantum Health Boss. I'm back here with another episode of Boss Health Matters. It's not on Sunday as usual. It's a Canadian Thanksgiving weekend here. So we're going to do things a little bit different, and we're just going to go all weekend with a whole bunch of podcasts. But today we have a little bit of special thing going on, with Trump in the highlight of the news. I don't have any cable or anything, but I know that he's been trending a lot lately with a lot of things he's doing. And I got reached out by my next guest, and he's a gay Trump supporter, which became an author because he got bullied behind bars. Let's bring him on and hear his story.
Thank you, Greg, for having me on the show. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I don't know, how everything lined up, how you reached out to me a couple of months ago, and then now everything's speaking, and we can actually get your story out. And I think it's a great time to hear your story. But the first question I really want to know for you is, how did you end up in jail?
The first or the second time?
Let's go with the first time.
The first time I worked at a car dealership. They didn't pay me my commissions, so I took matters into my own hands and I tried to sell one of their vehicles. I got caught. I know it's funny now, but
so I guess you got seasoned after the first time.
Yes, something like that. Yes.
So I guess the second time is where the meat and potatoes is.
That's where I chronicled my story, just like Anne Frank did during World War II, because I wanted to share my story so nobody has to go through what I went through.
That's very powerful, man. That's very powerful. So, seriously, how did you end up in jail as a Trump supporter?
The second time, I couldn't pass a background check, so I used other people's information, got a job, did the work myself, And then the government pursued me for about 5 years. Finally got an indictment after going to 6 grand juries. Spent about $500,000.
What? 6 grand juries, $500,000. You lost your shirt. You still got your shirt on, but I think things are probably like kind of hectic when it comes to the pocketbook. But what was the first thing that you felt after going back in jail the second time?
I went to 10 different institutions. Several of the institutions, the inmates would lie to the guards and tell them that I tried to proposition them, and then they would put me in solitary confinement.
I mean, proposition them for sex?
Yes. Which would never happen. Absolutely not a chance in heck.
So, like, I want to keep it real with you. Like, it doesn't really matter what your orientation is, like what your sexual orientation is, right?
Right.
It shouldn't matter. But why would you think these guys are bullying you behind bars? Is it just because the way how you looked, or the way how you talked, or
probably the way I looked, the way I acted? I mean, I'm autistic and I'm on the Asperger's spectrum, so I do things a little bit differently than somebody who is neurotypical would do things.
So the government followed you for 5 years, put you in a position where you felt threatened and bullied. Did anything happen to you in there?
Yes, I was raped by a member of the Aryan Brotherhood as an initiation.
Man, I'm sorry to hear about that, my friend. And behalf of all mankind, like, that shouldn't have happened to you. And I'm sorry on behalf of those people, man. But does it still haunt you today?
No, I've come to terms with it through going to men's weekends, doing therapy, writing my story, getting it out there, so it doesn't still haunt me today.
When did you publish your book?
In February 2022. It took me about 4 years to go through the process. It's a long, enduring process for those people who have never written a book. There's a lot more involved than most people think.
Maybe if you get a chance, you can put it into the chat where everybody can get your book from, so I can put it up onto the screen. But if anybody has a question for Matt, the number is right on the bottom. It's 1-855-669-2677. We can try to bring you on live. If not, you can talk to the agent and you can put your question so we can ask Matt, what's going on with his book so we can get it, and why do we want to get his book. I think we need to personally listen to Matt's story, because I got kids in school and I've already had 2 incidences of bullying, and bullying could happen anywhere, at school, at home, wherever the case may be. But I want to really ask you, Matt, what really drives you to keep on sharing your story?
Because I don't want anybody to have to go through what I went through.
And what would be the best advice? It doesn't matter if you're a straight, gay, Trump supporter. What would be the best advice that you can give if the administration changes when Trump finishes office to Democrats?
The judicial system in this country is corrupt. It needs to be overhauled, completely gutted, and revamped.
What do you think would be the best way of doing that? Becoming the bully, or still being the person that's being bullied?
No, I'm talking about overhauling the judicial system.
Yeah, I know. Like, you see, like right now, the way as it stands, even if Trump is in there right now, it needs overhauling, right?
Correct.
And when he comes out, it still needs overhauling.
Correct. That's not going to change.
Especially if there's a regime change, right? So
Correct.
what I'm gonna get at really is, should we like just sit by and keep on holding our hands like conservatives and saying this is wrong, or should we actually go to their tactics that they've been using on us for decades and put it back on them and actually turn into the bully? The reason why I'm asking that is, you know how you felt when you were in the situations that you've been in, especially going into jail for basically standing up for what's right. How can we turn the tides without not becoming the bully?
By pressuring government officials, putting pressure on senators, lawmakers, showing up at the capitals, demanding answers, demanding change.
What do you feel right now about some of the policies that Trump has that are not so, maybe good for LGBTQ people in America right now, that probably are looking at you and saying, you're a gay Trump supporter? Like, come on, bro. Give me something
He doesn't
that.
have any policies that go against LGBTQs.
Okay, let's hear about that. What so what do you think about him taking away funding for sex orientation changes?
I think it's a great thing. I think if you're born a man, you should stay a man. If you're born a woman, you should stay a woman. God created us, and only God can change us. And all those therapies, the surgery, it will do cause emotional heartache, disrepair. It's just not even worth it.
And I would say it probably wouldn't be worth it for the bottom line when you're trying to balance the books and you're kind of owe everything to everybody. I don't know if you know, but I'm a Canadian. I'm in Canada right now.
Right.
And the biggest thing is that, we're not putting up our fair share. We're not paying for our military. We're not, we're just freeloaders, right? I understand Trump wants to make us the 51st state. Mm-hmm. But my biggest thing, I don't know if you saw the other day, was it yesterday? Him and Prime Minister Carney
yes.
on the whatever, on the TV.
Right.
And Trump was basically calling him out.
He should be called out. He's a terrible prime minister. He hasn't done anything for Canada.
I 100% agree with you. I don't know if you know, but he has a daughter that is LGBTQ, and I believe has gone, or a son that's gone through some surgeries and some changes, and he called them out about their woke policies. Right. And I know you don't believe in the sex changes or anything, but how do you feel about DEI and all of those programs?
It's awful. DEI is a nightmare. Look at what happened at our air traffic control stations. Look at some of the policies that were going on because of DEI and hiring unqualified individuals.
Do you think personally that of all of these policies that these Democrats have put down to the pipeline that are still into play, do you think they've been pushed onto the public, the society, to enable them to be more stronger bulliers without any safeguards, any checks and balances?
The whole platform of the Democratic Party is victim and victimizer. That is how they run their platform.
So straight up, we don't want to be bullied anymore behind bars or out on the street, correct?
Right.
We need to immobilize, we need to educate each other about what's happening in these midterms coming up, correct?
Absolutely. The worst thing this country could see is Kami Mandami become the New York City mayor. This guy is a communist. He's filthy rich. He doesn't care about anything. And government-run grocery stores do not work.
I 100% agree with you that, we need to be staying less in the hands of, people in the community and just give them what they need to start their own business and thrive and survive. One of the biggest things about being a Canadian is every time I come down to the States, I notice that it's like pretty segregated. Where do you think is probably the best place and the worst place to be a gay Trump supporter?
That's a good question. I don't think I could give you a great answer for that.
Well, where do you live right now?
I live in Vermont.
Any problems with
No.
Everybody respects you?
Well, respect is a two-way street. I don't really look for validation from others. I'm comfortable in my own skin and I love myself. And that's key to being to loving others is you have to first love yourself.
100%.
If one is looking for validation from the outside world, they'll always be disappointed. That's why you need God. Everybody needs God in their life. Otherwise, they're running around in circles. I mean, woke is a religion of non-believers.
Oh, you definitely put the nail onto the head. I heard you speak about God a lot. When did you give yourself to the Lord?
In August 2015, I was driving on 495 in the middle lane going 72 miles an hour, which is fairly slow for me, when a Lexus SUV came down an embankment and literally crossed in front of my car. But by the grace of God, I was saved, protected. I didn't get injured or hurt or killed. And I knew then that I needed to give up my lifestyle of being deceptive, dishonest, and start living a more godly lifestyle.
Was God there with you in jail?
Oh, no question. And I've seen him in other times. In January 5th, 2022, I was driving on 93 when I got into Concord. There was freezing rain, and I watched one car after another hit each other, but I was protected. I was saved. And God has protected me time and time again because I'm a chosen vessel of his, and my job is to administer his word every single day.
Amen. I love to hear that, brother. And I really want to learn more about you and become your friend after this call because of your confidence, the confidence that you portray onto the screen and coming through your voice. And was it always like that? Were you always as confident, or what was the catalyst of you moving to that space?
I would say when I was diagnosed with autism in high school, I became more bold and more determined to not allow anybody to step on me.
If there was one Bible verse or one story in the Bible that you can think of, is somebody, a little kid, a teenager, an adult that's being bullied right now, what story or verse can you give them that will give them some hope that they can overcome that situation?
Oh, that's a good question. You sort of caught me off guard. I like the story of David and Goliath. Goliath was this giant, and David was this small man, and David with 5 stones, and a lot of people don't actually know what the 5 stones represent. The 5 stones represent Goliath's brothers, and he hit Goliath and ended up killing him. So it's not about how big you are. It's about if you have God on your side and if you're a warrior. And David was a warrior, and he was not perfect by any means. He had several wives, but every time he sinned, he was always idle. So, and Eve was the same way. When Eve sinned, she was idle. So when most people are idle, that's when they sin. And sin is sin, even with a spiritual spin.
Okay, hold on. Let's just see your copy link. I'm gonna try to add this to the chat here. While I do that, because I'm not a good multitasker, what would you want to tell my public? I'm on pretty much almost every platform, but the goal of my show is for people that don't think that they're the boss, become the boss. Why? Because only the boss will take charge. You don't have to be the boss, but when you have that leader mentality, you're going to be the leader to take charge in everything you do. So what can you tell the public right now that they need to do to take charge in their life, like the way how you're doing right now?
Be bold, be courageous. Don't worry about what other people think. If you are living in fear, you have anxiety, you have anger, that is all encompassing, and you won't be able to live your true, authentic self.
Oh, that's definitely powerful right there. I'm Oh, there I am. Come on, save. Oh, there we go. Scroll at the bottom, save. So yeah, anybody that has a question for Matt, you can call or you can put your question into the chat. 1-855-669-2677. And that's his website there, bulliedbehindbars.com. That's how you can reach out to him. And I had something else here, but 1 second. Let's make sure there's no other questions somewhere else here. But yeah, Matt, like, do you have any courses? Do you do coaching?
I'm always willing to coach anyone.
Okay. That's really what I want to hear, because this is going to go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I want to let people know, especially somebody that might be in your position that want to get the confidence that you have, contact you as soon as possible, and they can get your contact information from the website, correct?
Yes, my email address is bulliedbehindbars@gmail.com. I listed my social media handles. Feel free to reach out to me, and I will get right back to you.
Well, I'm going to definitely bring you back onto the show. Any last words before we go?
Don't isolate. Talk to people, and surround yourself with positive people.
Make sure that you surround yourself with Matt, because I am. All right, guys. In the next show, we're going live Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, all about breast cancer awareness and prevention. You don't want to miss this one. We have maybe 20-something guests, but we have survivors, we have motivators, we have professionals. We're going to bring the conventional and also, the magic that I bring to the holistic. So talk to you guys soon.